In this video, I'll show you how an expert can read all the account information in MQL5 in a very simple way. Welcome everyone, I'm Andrea, your automated trader. And if you like what I do, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's take a look at a chart to see how we can get information from our expert. Let's take the expert, put it on the chart, make sure that Allow Algo Trading is enabled here, and click OK. It automatically printed out all the information from our account. So we have the login, the broker, the server, the currency, and the leverage. Whether it's a demo account, whether we can trade, the margin model, information related to balance, equity, profits, used margin, free margin, and so on. The stop out level set by the broker and when the margin call is triggered. The credit, in case you have a bonus from the broker. Then there's the status. So how many positions we have open. Right now I have 10. How many pending orders? I have 7. And then some information directly from the MetaTrader terminal. So whether AutoTrading is enabled, that is this button here, if it's connected, the terminal name and the address where it saves data on your computer. How do I get all this information? Now I'll show you the code in case you need any of this information, maybe to program the expert advisor to perform a check, to make an IF statement. You'll be able to retrieve it yourself. So the code for our expert is simple. There's nothing complicated about this expert. So the first thing we do is declare our variables. As I wrote here, these are data containers. In other words, variables where we store all our data. So we have the account login, which is the account number, and we save it as a long. Then we have some strings where we save things, the broker's name, the broker server, and the account currency. Then we need to save the leverage, which is an integer, so we store it as an int. As for whether it's a demo account and whether trading is allowed, these are Boolean variables, so we save them in 2 bool type variables. Then we have another int, which is for the margin. So the type of margin management, whether it's hedging or netting. The next part concerns your own money in the account. So we read the account balance, the equity, the profit, which is the value that keeps changing based on the positions you have open. So the instant profit, the used margin, the free margin, and the margin level. Then we have the stop out threshold, which is the one related to the margin call. And the next value is the margin call threshold and any credit that the broker has given you. Because in some cases, there are agreements where you might have 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000 in credit. And so here you check that value. We then have 2 pieces of information about our account that are very important. The number of open positions and the number of pending orders. These are pieces of information that are very often used in experts, especially if you want to check the positions your expert has opened in order to modify the stop loss, close them, use a trailing stop, or even with orders. Maybe you need to cancel an order, update it, or place a new one at a different level. So these are very important values. I use them often in my experts. Then we have the last things, which are those related to the terminal. So whether the auto trading button is on or off, or if the terminal is connected to the broker. The name of the MT5 terminal and the data path where our MetaTrader is installed on the computer. What do I do in on init? So in this case, I wanted it to write out all my data for me. As soon as the expert is launched, so I put them all in on init. I have the account login and I read it with this function here. And so here I save the account number. Here I added a small comment where you can briefly see what it's for. Then we have the broker's name and I read it with this other line of code, the broker's server, demo, live, whatever it is, and I read it as well. Then we have the account currency. Maybe you need the currency for an expert, so you read it with this line of code. The leverage, this is important because sometimes you have many positions or a very large position with little capital in the account. So maybe you need to know what leverage your account has, and with this you can read it. As for the account type, you don't directly read whether it's demo or real. Here I did it as a Boolean, so account is demo, that's what I called the variable, and I read the account type that way. In this part, if it equals account trade mode demo, it means this will become true. And so I have true, and so the account is demo. Clearly, if it's false, it means the account is real. This next one is whether the broker allows me to trade on this account. Obviously, if it's false, I will never be able to make any trades because it's not enabled for trading. And then I have the type of margin management, whether it's hedging or netting. So I go and check it with this line of code. The next part is in fact about the money we have in our account. So I go and read the balance with this line of code here, which is an important value because maybe I don't know. You might want to calculate the stop loss as a percentage of the balance. So you need to have the correct updated balance every time you calculate a stop. Or maybe you want the equity because you might calculate the stop loss based on the equity. So I go and read the equity with this command. Then I go and check the profit of the position. So the floating profit with this. Maybe I need in an expert advisor to say, when the floating profit is more than 5%, close all positions. If I don't know how to read this value, I can't perform this check. The used margin, the margin still available, you read with this line. And the margin safety level, so with this other command, here we then go to read the stop out level, which is when the broker basically closes all our positions because we're losing too much, the margin call, when the margin call happens, and the credit granted by the broker. As I mentioned earlier, maybe you have a broker who gives you a bonus for some reason, and this way you can check what your bonus is. If you need to, you can also use the bonus in the calculation of something within your expert advisor. Here we still have some values, so we have the operational status, which are also important because we often use them in experts. Number of open positions, number of pending orders. The last part is the one related specifically to the MT5 terminal. So for example, if the auto trading button is active, we read it with this. Here too, it's a Boolean because I need to know true or false, so whether it's active or inactive. If the terminal is connected to the broker, so again, I read it the same way with this line of code. It's always a Boolean because I need to know if it's true or false, so connected yes or connected no, right? Name of the MT5 terminal and the data folder path of MT5, where we save the data on the computer. How do I print out all that series of information you saw earlier? I use the print function. So in the first part, I put the value I want to print as a string, and then I add the variable I need. The string, of course, I have to put between quotation marks. Then I add a comma and the name of the variable. This will print it out, as you saw earlier. Now I've done it here, and this is the same for all of them. So I just inserted the print statement each time with a different variable. So when I run my expert in on init, it gives me all the account information we've set up. Some information, like the last ones, I have to put in on tick, not because they don't work in on init, but because they change continuously. So yes, if you want to have them when the expert opens, that's fine. You can also insert these with a print statement in on init. Otherwise, these are pieces of information that are usually used for the structure of the expert, so I save them in variables in onTick, and they get updated with every tick. So if I change the value, I also change the value of the variable. Then I go and use them within my code wherever I need them. Now our expert is no longer blind. It knows which account it's working on, how much money it has, and whether it's authorized to trade on that account. In the next video, I'll show you how to read all the information related to the symbol of the chart we're trading with the expert. I'm not teaching you to copy expert advisors, but I'm teaching you to create your own expert advisors. And I'm giving you all the information you might need to create your first expert. If you like what I'm doing, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next content I'll be publishing.